Here comes our sneak peek. In the meantime, remember, your job is not to feed the 5,000. It is only to provide the loaves and fish. See you soon.
Here we go.
There's 2 men from Judea demanding to see Jesus.
They bear an important message from John.
Gaius, you have utterly failed me in the tent city. Atticus is meeting with Pilate in Jerusalem. He's telling on me.
I know what I must do.
Eden? Eden!
Are we okay?
Your turn, traitor. Mine will be the last face you see.
What does John want to know?
If you are really the one who is to come, or should we look for someone else?
Really, really good. I'm going to break that down.
Hey, it's Dallas.
And we will go back to this in just a second. Let me see. It's not that long, huh? Let me do this. All right. So, first off, we get a scene with the inner circle, right? So we have Big James, we have John, and we have Simon. Now, we've seen pieces of this recorded. They're talking about John the Baptist's disciples. They're saying, like, these guys have come. They're seeking out Jesus. They have a message.
2 men from Judea demanding to see Jesus.
They bear an
And then here is where they are. This is a scene that we saw again in the behind the scenes where Simon, John, and Big James, they go up to talk to these 2 guys who we know are the disciples of John the Baptist because we see them later on as well. But how Simon enters into this conversation is he says, he basically asks them some questions to verify who they are, and he says, "Is Andrew good at dancing?" And they start laughing, right? And then he asks them some more questions, but we couldn't really hear it in the behind the scenes. So it's going to be kind of like a funny moment before Jesus arrives, and then right after this scene is when Jesus arrives back in town, and then they have the confrontation moment.
important message.
But these are the 2 guys that are the disciples of John the Baptist that come and they question Jesus, basically saying, "Are you truly the Messiah or no?"
From John.
Gaius, you have utterly failed me in the tent city. Atticus is meeting with Pilate in Jerusalem.
And so this is another scene that we saw at the behind the scenes where Quintus, he's using these candles and he puts these candles as problems to be solved. And as he's talking about each of them, he says, you need to do this. And he kind of licks his fingers and puts out the candle. And then he keeps on doing that. And then he turns around to Gaius and he says, "Put out the fires, Gaius." Like that.
A sushi analogy.
Sort of, yeah. It's another analogy there. And then this is where we see Atticus approaching Pilate. Again, we saw this in the behind the scenes. We've seen Pilate's the side of his face. We haven't seen his whole face revealed yet, but we see a little bit of that. So I'm really interested to see who Pilate is. And to break down more of his scenes and where he's going. He is going to be a very prominent figure later in the show. So I'm really excited to see who they picked for that and what he's actually going to look like. Most representations that we've seen of Pilate are very old.
Yeah.
But this is a very young Pilate. And I've heard some people talk in our comments and stuff saying that Pilate was like in his 20s when he was ruling, which is interesting. I haven't done a ton of research yet on it, but as always, you guys know that I will. And I'll go through all of that. But yeah.
He's telling on me.
I know what I must do.
This, I don't think, is a big deal. I think he's probably just approaching somebody. I don't think he's approaching Jesus here.
Well,
Nathaniel is there, yeah.
I don't know why I always call him Nathan.
But I don't think he's like pulling his sword out on Jesus. I don't think that's the case at all.
Gotcha.
I don't know what this is exactly. We haven't seen much behind the scenes.
Maybe a zealot?
Possibly, but this does seem like the scene. He looks like he's approaching a Pharisee, to be honest.
Oh.
So maybe the Pharisees making a big deal with John the Baptist's disciples there. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, there could be a lot of different things, but they've done a lot in these trailers to try to like trick us or like make us worried about things that are not a big deal in the show. Like Little James falling down in episode 5 was just like a really quick moment, but in the trailer it seemed like this, like, oh my gosh,
big
she just
moment.
died sort of thing, you know.
Eden?
Here we have Eden and Simon. They actually are eating dinner here. We again saw this in the behind the scenes. They released some extra footage about it. They're eating dinner here. Someone comes to the door. Simon tells them basically to go away. During this scene, well, he may not have told them to go away. It might be the scene with John and Big James that actually come to the house. This may be this scene here where they come to the house. And then the next day is when they see the disciples of John the Baptist. They're not having a great dinner. Like this is like a very like hard, quiet, like nobody's talking sort of like angry dinner. And then again, she's really, really struggling, as we just saw in episode 5, which we've done a whole bunch of breakdown videos. If you're watching this after the fact, we're going to do all of our breakdown videos of episode 5, which is a ton, because there's a ton of stuff that happens in this episode. So, hey, did you know that we're going to Israel in 2024? We would really love to have you on this trip with us. I'm talking to some other YouTube creators, and we're going to have some amazing hosts along for the ride as well. The trip I've tried to make as cheap as possible, but I would love to have you there. We're not only going to Israel, but we're actually doing an extension to Jordan as well if you'd like to add that on, but that's an optional piece. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below, and feel free to email me if you want to learn more about the trip. All the links are in the description down below, so let's get back to the episode. And then this scene, we also get, this is like a 10+ minute scene of just Tamar and Mary. And we're gonna get a ton of Tamar's lore, her background, right, and who she is. And Mary, I think, is going to really pour into her here, which will be really cool to see.
Yeah.
I wonder if we get any of that animism, paganism sort of talk again.
Right.
Or if that's going to bleed into it at all.
Yeah.
Because it is weird to me that she would even approach that line of like paganism, you know? Or she would even approach that line of looking like something other than a follower of Jesus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's like if I walked around with like, you know, like black nail polish and fangs, you know? It's not that it's against the Bible to do that.
Right.
But it would put me in a place where it looks like I'm leaning towards something that I don't want to.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I would say that's similar to what Tamar is doing here.
Okay. You turn traitor. Mine will be the last
Now here we have also seen this scene here. Simon actually gets up and he shows them that he no longer has a Sakati dagger. And there's not only the zealot that we saw before in front of him, but there's also one behind him, they're basically surrounding
him.
Yes, they're flanking him. And so Simon is basically telling them, no, I have found the Messiah. This is the dude. Like, this is extremely important.
Would this guy have seen the healing?
He was there, so probably, yeah. And they've been following Simon since he got back. So, yeah.
face. You see.
What does John want to know?
And then here are the disciples of John. And we get direct from scripture moment here, which is really, really cool. We kind of see some more scriptural moments. Whenever John's disciples come, we see that exact scripture that Jesus says. We've heard him say that.
If you are really...
And then this Pharisee seems to be more of an issue now. He's kind of like the new Shmuel in a way.
Yeah.
Like the local kind of like evil rabbi. Not evil, but trying to uphold the law, et cetera, et cetera. You can also see Reuben, one of the extras that's always in a lot of the shots right behind him. Really, really cool guy. We saw him in a lot of the time when we were at the Feeding of the 5,000 as well. And a lot of people say that I look like him, which is hilarious. So,
be the one who is to come, or should we look for someone else?
Very cool. Excited about that for sure. Episode 6. What are you thinking?
Excited.
What are we thinking we're going to see?
Well, I just want to see, like, how Dallas was saying in the beginning when he was reading that one review thing.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see it all laid out. You know what I mean? Because there's so many questions.
Before you make a final
Life
judgment.
can't just be about money.
It's never not.
Andrea, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You rock. I appreciate that a ton. Yeah, I think episode 6 is going to be another kind of like, we're going to get some resolution, but it's not going to be a complete resolute episode. Like, we're going to still have some cliffhanger stuff. We're still going to be dealing with Eden, I think. I don't think that's going to be fully resolved in this episode. Maybe episode 7.
I think that's why they were doing something with 7 and 8, because together, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen there. Hey guys, if you like this small excerpt from our live stream, you can check out the whole 4-hour live stream over on our Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/thesnipelife. This is seriously the best way to help to support our ministry and our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and we'll see you over there.